This episode contains discussions of toxic masculinity, and the song discussed in today's episode is full of sexually explicit lyrics. Listen at your own discretion. It is Monday, the 25th of November, 2024. My name is Pigeon Rose, and this is my song of the day. Here we are with another week of unthemed whatever songs I want to talk about. And today we're talking about a song that's been stuck in my head since I discovered it because whether you like it or not, it's certainly a song that makes an impression. And that song is Holy Holy by Geordie Greep. Now, who's Geordie Greep? Geordie Greep was the lead singer of the band Black Midi. Black Midi were a rock band in the broadest sense, but they're kind of avant-garde, jazzy, math rocky, proggy sort of band. I had never really listened to them. I just kept hearing their name mentioned and was like, they sound like the kind of thing I would enjoy. And then I heard one song by them and I was like, I do like this. That song was John L., by the way. I do like this, but not all the time. It's a lot, But I didn't know anything about the band. I didn't know that they essentially broke up in 2024. They said they're on indefinite hiatus and the members are focusing on solo work. So they might reform at some point, but they're currently not active. But I kept getting this song, Holy Holy, in my recommendations on YouTube. It kept showing up and I kept seeing the thumbnail and I'm like, what the fuck is that? So I finally listened to it and it was great. So I looked up the artist and I was like, oh, this is the guy from Black Midi. That explains so much. So that's finally convinced me to actually go and listen to Black Midi now, and I've listened to their first album. I haven't listened any further, but I'm enjoying it. So this song is the lead single from Geordie Greep's solo album, which is called The New Sound, and I don't want to give too much away about it because there's a whole narrative in the song that I want you to hear. I would recommend the music video, although it is not essential as a viewing experience. I just very much enjoy it. But I will say, I want you to bear in mind that he's playing a character in this song because the lyrics of this song are kind of gross, and that's intentional. He's making fun of a very specific kind of person. So I just want you to go into it knowing that when you hear him say something egregious, remember, this is not him. He's making fun of this kind of person. Okay? So let's go listen to it now and then come back in a few minutes and talk about it. It's quite a wild ride of a song, isn't it? It just keeps going. So, that was Holy Holy by Geordie Greep. Now, I know his accent is hard to understand at times. This guy is fully English, and when he sings, he has such a strange accent. Because when he speaks, he has a pretty normal English accent. I saw someone say that he sounds like fucking 2D from Gorillaz when he speaks, which is funny. But when he sings, he has this kind of accent, and maybe that's part of how he's usually playing a character in these songs, But the lyrics are quite important to this one, so if you didn't understand entirely what he was saying, that's fair enough. Especially because the music is quite loud too. But basically, this song is about an insecure man trying to big himself up. And the first half of the song is him describing this encounter with this woman in a bar and talking about how great he is and being really overconfident and all this and talking about how he'll have her. And then the second half of the song is the big reveal that he had actually arranged this ahead of time and he had paid her money to make him look good. It's a really interesting examination into toxic masculinity and this kind of culture of men who do these performative things to make themselves look big in front of women. There's a quote I have here. It's kind of a rambling quote, but I'll read it. There's an interview with Geordie Greep where he said, "Thing is, I just thought that lots of people were talking about this stuff, and it seems like we're in a weird point of history where, with Twitter, people are being driven to such extremes of what you're used to seeing, and the extent to which people can really be whacked out. It's a cartoon world, man. It's really all over the top. People are saying, oh, well, obviously toxic masculinity is bad stuff. And it's like, yeah, obviously toxic masculinity is bad stuff. We know it's bad stuff. Why is this happening? What's going on? What the fuck is this? This is insane. I thought it was more effective to just portray it and really get to the roots of it and try and see, how is this funny? But at the same time, you can be sympathetic with these characters. You can feel sorry for them and at the same time repulsed by them. I just thought it was good to lay it out." So that's really interesting how he's kind of getting to the root of what makes people like this and also talking about how there's kind of a sympathetic angle to it in that obviously people like this are not good people, but there is a reason why they're like this, and it's a societal problem that needs to be confronted rather than individual people that just need to be confronted, So let's start going through the lyrics here. "I could tell you were lonely from the moment you walked in, from the way you had your makeup on, from the way you'd done your hair, from the way you sat down next to me, from the way you ordered your drink, from the moment you put your hand on my knee, I knew I'd have you with ease. Do you come here often? Do you know how this thing works? Do you go to bed with a different man every night? Don't tell me I'm the first." Right off the bat, he's saying, I could tell you were lonely from the moment you walked in. He sees this woman. You can imagine him sliding up next to her and saying, "Ooh, I could tell you were lonely from the moment you walked in." But he says all these things about the way she has her makeup on, the way she's done her hair, like she's kind of dressed up to meet people, right? From the way you sat down next to me, from the way you ordered your drink, from the moment you put your hand on my knee, and you, I'd have you with ease. So he's describing her as if she's like very sexually forward, like she's very flirtatious, but he's saying, "I'd have you with ease," which immediately betrays the way he thinks of it, right? That he'd have her. It's very possessive. It's very one-sided, right? Do you come here often? Classic pickup line. Do you know how this thing works? You know, how this whole interplay of man and woman it works? Do you go to bed with a different man every night? Don't tell me I'm the first. It's interesting. He seems to be asking her if she's a virgin, I guess, is the implication there. And then the chorus and post-chorus part. You must have heard about me. Everyone knows my name. Everyone knows I'm holy. Holy, 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 holy. All the revolutionaries, all the jihadis too, around the world, I'm holy. Holy, 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 holy. Repeating. So this bit was apparently inspired by something that Andrew Tate said, which makes so much goddamn sense, given the topic of the song. So, you must have heard about me. Everyone knows my name. Everyone knows I'm holy. It's just cuts to the center of his delusions of grandeur. But specifically this, all the revolutionaries, all the jihadis too, is inspired by, I have another quote again from Geordie Greep explaining this. These days, there's a lot of this stuff reaching extremes and becoming very scary in some ways. These guys are more isolated than ever. Go onto Twitter and everything is so extreme now. Maybe that's a boomer thing to say, but it's true. In the last 5 or 10 years, there's a lot of change in this men's stuff. People like Andrew Tate. Even on Holy Holy, this line about the jihadis. I saw a video of Andrew Tate saying, even ISIS watches my videos. Even ISIS thinks I'm cool. Like he was bragging. And I was like, what the fuck? That's the weirdest quote I've ever heard. That's just one thing, but it's stuff like that all the time. These insane guys, and it's real to somebody. So he's comparing this guy here to this thing that Andrew Tate said, that like ISIS watches my videos, as if that's cool. And so this guy's saying the jihadis know that I'm holy, as if that's something to brag about, right? But he's just talking about how, I mean, it's a god complex, it's delusions of grandeur, you know what I mean? And then in the second verse, you know my name, of course you know my name, everyone does, it's true, it's true, it's true, it's true that I'm known around here. The barmaids know my name, I've had them all before. You are new, I'll have you too, it's time to give in. From the shores of Havana to Moscow and Tokyo, in French Guyanese, in Cantonese, everyone knows my name. What's interesting here is if you know that the turnaround happens later where it's revealed that he arranged all this in advance, of course she knows his name. He would have told her when he paid for her services. But this bit of, you know my name, of course you know my name, everyone does, it's true. He's clearly trying to make the other people around them think that he's more important than he is by claiming to her that she knows his name already. You know what I mean? That's the tactic here. Then he says, the barmaids know my name. I've had them all before, which is wild. Reading these lyrics coldly is very funny. Again, just this thing of having someone, this possessive thing, right? You are new, I'll have you too. It's time to give in. I don't need to explain that. That's just gross. And then it changes to like kind of a Copacabana sort of feel. From the shores of Havana to Moscow and Tokyo and French Guyanese and Cantonese, everyone knows my name. So it's similar to all the revolutionaries, all the jihadis too. Like he's just describing all these places where everyone apparently knows who he is. But the French Guyanese thing is interesting because French Guyanese is not the name of a language. It's the name of a Creole, but him saying in French Guyanese as if it's its own language just kind of shows that he's ignorant, basically. Then we get the chorus again, but it continues on. So it's all the revolutionaries, all the jihadis too. Everyone knows I'm holy. How about we dance some salsa? I'll spin you round and round. On the dance floor, I'm holy. How about we take this further? I'll meet you in the bathroom. I'll bet your pussy is holy too. Oh, what a wild line. So yeah, again, he's progressing this quote-unquote date, right? How about we dance some salsa, I'll spin you right around. So he's talking about dancing with her. Then how about we take this further, I'll meet you in the bathroom, implying that they're going to go have sex. And then he says, I'll bet your pussy is holy too. So, you know, at least giving her some praise, but also it could be a pun on whole. Her pussy is holy. All right, Geordie. And then we get a big instrumental break. And I love the sound of this song. I don't have too much to say about it. I just love the like it's got this big weird rock feel and it kind of swings a bit. I saw someone compare it to Steely Dan, which I can also honestly feel, but it also has the kind of heavier sound of Black Midi at times as well. It's just got a really interesting, unique feel to it. Anyway, the rest of the song is less rhythmic in that way. It's more kind of spoken. I mean, it's still sung, but it's just kind of unstructured. So it's, I'll arrive at around 7 p.m. and I want you to get there no later than 10. I want you to be dressed like a sophisticated tart with too much makeup on. Will that be all right? And I want you to sit down next to me as if by chance. I want it to seem like we've never met met before. How much will that cost? I want you to look unsure of yourself, and I want you to look at me as if I am attractive. I want your eyes to say, take me, and I want your lips to be unimpressed, and I want you to ask the waiter if I really am who I say I am, and I want you to blush. I'm going to stop here because it keeps going on. So this is him describing the plan to her. You know, he'll arrive at 7, she'll arrive at 10. I want you to dress like a sophisticated tart. Is so wild. Like, dress like a whore for me is what he's saying. And this calls back to how he describes the way she has her makeup on, the way she's done her hair. So he's deliberately creating this image, right? With too much makeup on, will that be all right? Now, what's really interesting here is the interplay of how confident he was earlier in the song. And in this part, he just keeps repeating, will that be all right? How much will that cost? So he's like really desperate. And you see the true him of this character here, where he's just like, will that be all right? Like, please just go with me on this plan. You know, I want you to sit down next to me as if by chance. So he mentions her sitting down in the first verse. I want it to seem like we've never met before. How much will that cost? I want you to look unsure of yourself. I want you to look unsure of yourself is such a telling lyric too. He wants her to look unconfident and unsure about dating him. But then I want you to look at me as if I'm attractive. I want your eyes to say, take me. So again, trying to boost his confidence. I want your lips to be unimpressed. I want you to ask the waiter if I really am who I say I am, and I want you to blush. So again, playing into this mythologizing of him, right? And then we'll continue. I want you to shoot a smug look at the other girls to make them jealous. I chose you. When I tell you your pussy is holy, I want you to slap me and then kiss me. Make sure everybody's watching. Kiss me and then walk away. Walk to the bathroom. I'll follow after. Don't worry, we won't do anything. We'll just loiter there 15 minutes or so. Then I'll choose your new lipstick and we'll walk back out. And I want you to tell me I'm a perfect dancer. I want you to tell me I smell great. I want you to make me look taller. Could you kneel down the whole time? How much will that cost? I want you to put your hand on my knee. Will that be all right? I want you to look at me as if you're lost. How much will that cost? Yeah, shooting a smug look at the other girls to make them jealous. I chose you. I mean, that's the whole crux of it, right? He wants this guise to help him get with girls properly, would be the assumption. When I tell you your pussy is holy, I want you to slap me and then kiss me. So that's such an old, like, movie thing. And he has this distorted idea of romance that would be a good thing to do. Make sure everybody's watching, kiss me and then walk away, walk to the bathroom. I'll follow after. Don't worry, we won't do anything. We'll just loiter there 15 minutes or so. So he's paying her to do all this, not even have sex with him. They're just going to hang out in the bathroom, wait, he'll choose her new lipstick and they'll walk back out. So they're just pretending to have sex. And then I want you to tell me I'm a perfect dancer. I want you to tell me I smell great. Just all these compliments. I want you to make me look taller. Again, just such classic insecurity. Could you kneel down the whole time? How much would that cost? Such a ridiculous thing to ask that obviously wouldn't work, but it just shows how desperate and insecure he is. I want you to put your hand on my knee. Will that be all right? So that's one of the first things he mentions in the song. I want you to look at me as if you're lost. How much will that cost? Again, just this desperation. And then the outro is, thank you so much. We'll meet the same time next week, and the next week after that too, and the next week after that, and the next month, and the next. The music video is him in a bowling alley drinking a fruity cocktail, and that's mostly it. During the bridge, the camera zooms in to the pins and shows kind of neon signs. Then it shows a pool hall that he walks into, and then it zooms in on a ball, and it's just kind of like surreal imagery, but I enjoy it because he's charming in like a silly way, the way he's dancing around and smirking at the camera. Someone in the comments said it best. He looks simultaneously 25 and 50, because he is 25, and he looks like an old young boy. But yeah, I mean, that's pretty much the song. It's such an interesting discussion of this theme. Got some great, clever lyrics, some really gross things on purpose, and some really great music too. And I've just had it stuck in my head for the last few days, and I had to exorcise that demon by talking about it here. So there you go. I've made it your problem now. Thank you so much for listening. Please hit like, hit subscribe, leave a comment down below. Tell me what you think. Tell other people about this show. Thank you so much for listening, and I will talk to you tomorrow.
Break it down.